everybody, and welcome to the next episode of our student podcast series, The Student Voice. Today, I am delighted to be joined by first-year applied science student, Aine. Hi, Aine, how are you today?
Oh, grand. How are you, Claire? Thanks for having me.
Great, thank you. I'm great. So, Aine, we're actually going to talk about your journey through your first year of college, how you found the transition, and also how you found studying locally here at AIT. So, firstly, thanks a million for joining me. We really appreciate you taking time out of your day. And we're going to jump back to maybe kind of this time last year and kind of your decision to why you choose to study here at AIT. So, do you want to tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I suppose I was kind of looking more towards like just general biology, chemistry courses. I didn't really know exactly, I didn't have a specific course that I wanted to do. So I was just kind of looking at the courses in Galway and at Sloan and just kind of looking at those possibilities. And it's just that Athlone had basically the course that I wanted. And it had like a basic kind of level 6 course that, you know, if I didn't like it, it would allow me to, okay, if I drop out of this course, I'm not like losing an entire level 8 course. You know, I'm starting something small and building it up, because there's no, like, there's a misconception that you have to be doing a level 8, but it's not the case.
Yeah, perfect. And Aine, you mentioned there that you were looking at courses kind of all over the country. So firstly, as someone who wanted to study science, did you actually cover all of the Leaving Cert Sciences subjects, or what subjects did you take for the Leaving Cert?
I did biology, chemistry, French and business, and then your usual 3. I really enjoyed biology and chemistry. I think I did pretty well in both of them. But I think just doing the 2 sciences kind of gives you a good grasp, because in the higher cert course, you do cover basically the 5th or 6th year information from physics, biology and chemistry. So you do get that basis in first year, but I think it just kind of, and it kind of lightens the workload if you've done a bit already.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
never did.
I think what you said there as well, that if you have it covered, that's great, but also that it does go back to the basics. For example, if maybe someone didn't take chemistry for the Leaving Cert or biology or whatever it may be, to not feel like anxious that you are going to fall behind, that basically everyone gets back to step 1 of kind of the Leaving Cert course back in 5th year. As you said, it's kind of like a basis to bring you back.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, brilliant. And Aine, I actually mentioned there in your little piece that you did quite well in your exam, so we are well aware of that. So firstly, congratulations, you received our incredible academic scholarship, the Scholarship of Excellence. So you received 500 plus points in your Leaving Cert, which is absolutely congratulations, as I said. But you want to talk me through kind of how you juggled studying and how you achieved such high points. Would you have any advice for anyone who might be a little bit anxious now about the results? And, you know, obviously this year it's a little bit different, but even for next year students who are maybe going into 6th year in September, what advice would you give them?
I would just say that probably discipline is the biggest thing. Like, you know that there's going to be an end to it. So you're just like, okay, if I just crack on this now just for the last couple of months and just be working away at yourself, because people kind of overcomplicate, like, oh, what's the secret ingredient that I need to get the best grade? It's like, it's really only hard work, repeating yourself, because that's basically what the exams are all about, unfortunately. But it's easy enough to do that if you can convince yourself and not having to be caught up in going to study groups and overcomplicating it, and you just have to sit at home, basically, as bad as it sounds, and just crack on it yourself. Make the best notes that you can at home, and just, you know, you might have to give up a little bit of your social life, and I had to, obviously, but I just find that if you put that as the priority, then, you know, you will get the results that you deserve, because I did, for the most part anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's a great piece of advice. You basically said, figure out a way that works best for you and then give it your best shot, which is what anyone could do. So if it's figuring out what best way is to study, because I know, for example, when I was doing the Leaving Cert, I always found it confusing as what was my way to study and what way worked best for me. So I found in 5th year, I tried loads of different things of ways that I find the easiest to learn. So for example, for me, it was talking out loud or doing mind maps. But I think a really good piece of advice is figuring out what way you learn things. And like, you might be different to someone else. So if you walk around your room and say things out loud, and someone else maybe sits in silence and listens to music. Everyone is a little bit different.
Yeah, exactly. I think, and trying different things as well. Like maybe you found, oh, I just do this way, but maybe just try the different, like recording yourself, walking around the room, like doing little pictures, whatever. Like just, try things and see, and also different techniques might work for different subjects as well.
Yeah.
So, you kind of have to try things and just to see what works for yourself.
Exactly. Like what you said there is really important. I think, for example, with biology, a lot of it might be reading out loud or rewriting notes or mind maps, whatever it may be, but that obviously is a little bit different than if you're covering something like maths. So it's really about figuring out what way works best for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Anya, another question I have for you, as someone who is a local girl here from Athlone, what made you decide to study locally with us here at AIT?
I suppose I was kind of thinking ahead of college as well that okay, if I'm going to be paying for this accommodation, or my parents are paying for my accommodation, that's just it's really a huge expense, and it's really hard to get accommodation. And if I could do the same course in Athlone and have all the comforts at home, and I can still go out on the train, go to Galway, have the nightlife, enjoy it and have the crack, as well as coming home, doing college at home. It's you're not missing out on a lot. You can still go places at the weekends, and you have plenty of spare time, because you don't have to worry. You have plenty of spare time if you manage your stuff properly.
Yeah, that's absolutely spot on, Anya. I think something you said there is really important as well. About accommodation, it's important to research and figure out how much things are, and then you also maybe have to travel, and all of these things are really bonuses of traveling to college. Obviously are expensive, but if you do decide to study locally, you will obviously save a little bit of money, evidently. But another thing you mentioned right at the beginning of this podcast was that you did do your research and you were looking at places like Galway as well, but you actually found from doing a good bit of research that what you wanted was actually here, and it mightn't be specifically under a specific name, but if you do a good bit of research and figure things out, that the stepping stone might be there for you.
Exactly, yeah. But I do agree with that. You do have to, you can't just look at the name of the and say, oh, that looks way better just because it's in Galway. You do have to look into it and say, okay, well, these modules are covering what I am interested in, and what would correlate to me doing at work. You have to be kind of thinking smartly about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think something you mentioned as well a little bit earlier, Anya, was that you come to yourself, yeah, I love science and I do see myself in this role, but I'm not really 100% committed to doing a level 8. And if someone is anxious or feels like they have to do a level 8, that it's not the case. You can go in and do your level 6 like yourself. You do your 2 years. If you're really happy, you can go on and do your level 7 add-on of an ordinary degree, and then go on again and do your level 8 honours degree. You're just basically splitting up your own degree to suit you and make sure that you're happy within the field that you would like to go and pursue a career in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do agree with that.
Brilliant, Anya.
Like people kind of ask me, because I did get the scholarship, they're like, oh, you did so well, you made such an effort in your leaving cert, why aren't you doing medicine, or why didn't you go for a higher, like a hard course, and it's like, well, like, if you really do think about it, you are going to be finishing with the same degree as the person that is doing that started on whatever, the higher level, like level 7 or level 8, and like there's just a huge misconception about that.
Yes, I definitely I think from your own point of view, what you said there is so important, that you did do incredible in your leaving cert and it's absolutely amazing, but you put yourself first and said, I know I can go and study medicine if I want, but what I want to do is not that, and I want to know that what I do every day is something that I love.
Exactly, yeah. And people can kind of get ahead of themselves, and they're like, oh, I'll just aim for the highest one. And it's like, but it's not something that you really want to do. You have to kind of see what you liked in school, and just kind of think that way, practically, like what I enjoy doing.
Yeah. I think that's honestly probably one of the best pieces of advice that you could give to anyone. If I could give it to anyone, I would say the same thing. Figure out something that you're going to love, and then do your best to achieve that goal, whether it's doing really well in the leaving cert and going on and doing medicine if that's what it's for you, or if it's something like yourself, figuring out what you like and then go pursue it. Like everyone's steps into the future is always a little bit different and no one goes on the same path. So figuring out what works best for you is definitely something that's really important.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, perfect, Anya. So I think we're going to finish it up there. That was a really good insight into, firstly, your journey through first year, why you chose to study with us here at AIT, but you gave a great little piece of advice for anyone who might be going into sixth year next year, a little bit anxious of maybe their friends might be all talking about level 8s or going away or whatever it might be, and why you decided to say to yourself, okay, yes, I know I can achieve a medicine kind of style points if I want, but that's not what I want to do. So I'm going to do what I want to do and figure it out my own way.
And like, don't be afraid of kind of making a mistake either, because you can maybe, like, you know, end up taking a course and like, oh, I don't like this at all. There's you can still change it, you know. If you're on a grant, okay, you might have to figure things out a little bit, but if you figure out earlier on, okay, I really don't like this, but I think it's a good mentality as well to, you know, try and see what's good about it and not be afraid of hard work, you know, because it is a step up from school, you know, as well.
Yes. Thank you so much, Anya. Have a lovely summer. Stay safe. And I look forward to welcoming you back, hopefully on campus in September. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.